Nicole, and this is Metabolic Intelligence from Oval. We break down the science of your metabolic system so you can feel better, move with purpose, and make sense of what's happening inside your body. Today, I'm joined by Dylan, who is an exercise physiologist and strength and conditioning specialist who has trained professional athletes, celebrities, and executives for more than 25 years. Let's get into it. Today's topic is Dylan, please explain to us why the Smart Zone is so small.
Smart Zone is Oval's sustained cardiovascular exercise program. And the reason why the heart rate zone for Smart Zone is only 5 or 6 beats a minute is because it has to be stimulatory to your system in order to drive an adaptation. There's no incentive for your body to change if it's not given some reason to. So really what happens in Smart Zone is that we're positioning this heart rate zone right underneath your first lactate threshold. And then that's causing your body to have to adapt to this stress and improve.
So what you're saying is in Smart Zone, the reason it's so small is because I know that that's exactly where I'm burning fat.
It is. So your lactate threshold, your first lactate threshold is really at that point where the level of intensity of the activity that you're doing becomes so high that your body can no longer depend on fat primarily for fuel. It's forced to have to start predominantly using carbohydrates for energy. And your Smart Zone is positioned right underneath that peak so that it's giving your body the message that you're going to burn fat at this level of intensity, but it's going to be so demanding that it's going to drive this adaptation to that. It's going to force your body to have to grow more mitochondria and network them together better and increase efficiency in order to make that experience easier for you over time.
And by increasing efficiency, you're saying my metabolic system will then know when and how to burn fat versus carbs or at the same time.
You should be able to do both. Your body is basically designed to use fat for most activities because it can store fat, and fat is very energy dense. Conversely, carbohydrates are not nearly as energy dense as fats are, but they can be converted to energy really quickly. So you need to have the ability to switch between those fuel sources whenever the demands change. By exercising inside of your Smart Zone, we're training your body to become better at switching between fuel sources back and forth, and also burning fat most maximally at higher and higher levels of demand.
So let's say I'm bad at staying within the Smart Zone. What does that mean about my body?
It just means that when we're putting some really, really strict parameters around the size of that training zone, 5 or 6 heartbeats a minute is really small. And without asking that of your body up until now, your body's just not very good at holding a level of intensity like that. Heart rate intensity discipline is what that's called. And by continuing to train in SMART with higher levels of frequency, you're going to get better and better at that over time. And that efficiency score that you see in the Oval app is going to become better and better.
So is that not just the same as Zone 2 training, or how is that different?
There's a lot of overlap there. Zone 2 training is steady state training. And that's the same with Oval Smart Zone. The difference is that it has to be stimulatory to your body in order to drive some kind of positive change. And if it's anything within this broad Zone 2 heart rate range, then it might not be stimulating enough to your body's system to become any better. On top of that, Zone 2, it's conceptually the same as Smart Zone, but Smart Zone is really individualized. We're taking this information directly from your body and then customizing this 5 or 6 heartbeat a minute training zone so that it sits really at the upper end of Zone 2, and it becomes the most stimulatory to your system.
Zone 2 is like really big and it's a bucket, whereas Smart Zone is based on your own bio. That's why it's so tight and it's personalized to me.
Exactly. Think of it as being a highly personalized, very specific, most stimulatory Zone 2.
What tips and tricks do you have for people like me who struggle to stay in that Smart Zone? What is the best way for us to go about tackling that?
That frequent exposure is going to result in a faster and more permanent adaptation. Even if you don't have hours to spend every day doing smart training. Something as simple as 10 minutes at a time can be enough to drive that stimulus to your body that is going to have to adapt to and increase that efficiency as you continue to train inside of smart.
Consistency is key.
It's really, really important. You can't, just like other kinds of training, you can't just pick up a weight and then 2 days later pick up another weight and expect that to have some sort of a positive stimulatory effect on your body. There has to be organization to the exercise that we're prescribing people. And this is what this is for as well. We're taking all the guesswork out of cardiovascular training by telling you exactly where to do your level of intensity of training in order to maximize the results you're going to get back at.
Thanks so much for joining us today. And always, if there's any topics that you'd like us to cover, please feel free to submit them to social@oval.care. Stay tuned for our next podcast.